Well, today I will be talking about this incident here. Um, this is a very, very, very evil woman that was involved in MK Ultra, who, however, rather appeared to me during MK Ultra as an angel, together with the rest of the Norwegian royal family. I already wrote about them at my blog, The Ulcer Times. Here is what you can see what they have done to the blog. That's about 15,000 pages, 15,000, and it was all related to MK Ultra, Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, hijacking, abducting, torture, poisoning, spine breaking, teeth breaking overseas, abductions, hijacking for the sake of espionage. 15,000 pages taken down of the internet by Pete Hegseth. You're going to call this Department of War intervened to get my blog taken down. Nobody here is excused. I don't excuse anybody. In continuation, as I will video record, I will also explain more about involvement of American Supreme Court, whose justices refer to me even as a king of United States of America, who no longer should interfere with any American politics related issue, because according to them and according to judges from various courts in the United States of America, where I was brought by none other, of course, than Donald Trump. Donald Trump wanted me at all costs to keep my mouth shut. They too refer to me as a king of the United States of America. I have done more than enough. So because I have done more than enough for the United States of America, and Mid-Eastern politics would go literally through the channels which were established through my case, even inside of our house here in Novo Mesto in Slovenia, I should just keep my mouth shut and wait for United States of America to complete its 9/11, that's basically Twin Tower bombing, September 11, 2001, World Trade Center bombing mission, right? That's what that was all about. George Bush started the wars. I should say continuation of what I was already part of in 1975, when I was just 4 years of age. Let's say that I was 4. Let's say I was not 3 years of age. Let's just say I was 4 years of age. 1976, 1975. And Josip Broz Tito had an apartment in New York where he would be coming. And it was about the Twin Towers, about exploding Twin Towers. Witnessing, which I performed on Ulcer Times, is being suspended. Everything is being taken away. You have no right to see about what took place, what went on. This is a help to me. This is a help to you. This is why they refer to me as the King of the United States of America. They did talk about 9/11, how I was a victim of all that scam. Contrary to the Chuck Schumer, who came to Novo Mesto repeatedly to traumatize with blaming me for 9/11, not only Chuck Schumer, but and Bill Clinton administration and Democrats, Al Gore, and etc., etc. They all blame me for 9/11. That's what I was convenient for. I was convenient as a scapegoat. I was convenient as torture subject, global torture subjects, so the Central Intelligence Agency could penetrate all the way even into Pablo Escobar clan. I think every every mafia clan throughout the world that was implicated in this case, and where I was delivered and tortured, and likewise it was with all the totalitarian governments throughout the world. North Korea and absolutely every country that Iran, Iraq, Syria, Egypt, Libya, every country that Syria ought to overthrow, basically. And since I'm here, I'm going to say Turkey and Pakistan, you know, you're next. I don't understand really your policies. I don't understand your politics, but you're losing grounds one by one to a foreign enemy, to a foreign colonial superpowers. That's what you are doing. And united, you're strong. Divided, you will fall. In this blog, what I wanted to do is the torture that took place in foreign countries and also in the United States of America domestically were all kinds of the issue. Mafia, crime, racial issues were implicated in, were just part of my job, in a parenthesis, job. I never got paid dime for it. The payment that I got is what you see right there. 15,000 pages were just taken off the internet, and that's right. It's also interesting to note, well, let me see that, because I did not, I'm not sure, I don't know what that is, use Blogger Draft. I don't know what that is, but why don't these guys give me the ability to download my own blog? Interesting, isn't it? Being tortured in everywhere on all these missions was just part of my job. It was part of my job because information was stolen from Russia, from Serbia, from China, from India, from all African countries and Middle Eastern countries. And you know what espionage does? This was a super espionage, basically hiring Hamas. It doesn't come to Hezbollah movement members for false flag operations by the Israel, literally, this kind of stuff. Hiring Irani officers, officials for false flag, for American sake, false flag operations, etc. Negotiating with the courts, meeting them. Using me to convince the sides to cooperate with Americans, with West. And like I said, the payment is right here. That's what you get after 54 years of being used as a less than a slave. Treated with less dignity than a slave. As a mentally ill person is basically how they treated me for 54 years next to using me. This is how they protect themselves. Here is the payment. The payment is right there in front of you. With the heroes that you see today, from Ursula von der Leyen, from entire German, French, British, all this apparatus, American, Trump, all this involved, implicated in MK Ultra, doing their best to complete their last mission. This is how they terminated me. And demanded from me to keep my mouth shut for the sake of king title. Yeah, they refer to me as a king. That's how they do this. That's how they did this. And you ask me who did this? All the U.S. Supreme Court justices were implicated in this. So we're not talking about the courts only. They had in New York, they had in Chicago, they had different courts. We're also talking here about U.S. Supreme Justices that were referring to me as a king, demanded for me to keep my mouth shut, insisting me that I did more than enough. That I did more than enough to keep my mouth shut and wait for everything to resolve. And so that I would even get my title, they told me. You're gonna be a king, American king. We don't agree with this. We are not a royal country. we're not a kingdom. But because of your case, we would even agree to that. Maybe we would agree to that for the duration of the time that you are subjected to this malpractice known as MK Ultra. It was not for genocide, right? All through entire procedure was based upon and completely relied on forced unemployment, right? How the fuck are you gonna hijack, do stuff with a person if not through the forced unemployment and under mental health care act? You gotta protect yourself and you gotta create the conditions for the use of such brutality against the person. Otherwise, nobody would willingly be complying with this type of brutality. No, I'm not stupid. I understand what they do. I understand what they try to do. I understand what they wanted to do. Donald Trump was the last one who spoke to me. And Donald Trump stressed to me that actually he sweared in front of his justices and judges that he is at disposal to me, that he is completely on my side, that he agrees to everything they stated in front of me, and that kind of stuff went on. I think it's important to stress this out, and from now on I'm going to be playing like this for the beginning of every video, that you understand what this shit is about. Now we can go to the point of this video here. This here I did clarify a little bit about this thing. Now I did dedicate her and to her family this thing here, because the account I'm about to tell you is going to make you feel disgusted. Not with me, but it's going to make you feel disgusted with her. I hope it will make you feel disgusted with her. I hope so. Because if you pay attention to these articles here, you know, she claims that she was a victim. She claimed that she was manipulated. She claimed that she was a victim of Epstein. She claims that she was manipulated. She claims that she was, I don't know, abused and now destroyed and all this stuff. So who the hell was really manipulated? Who the hell really was victim? It's time to unleash the truth about these vampires who refer to themselves as royals. And you, the taxpayers, continue to pay this special institution known as royalism. That's what Prince Harry claimed me. I'm an institution. There's nobody can do anything to me. We are institution. It's like sort of government, basically, in that sense. Institution. They are an institution. Institution like psychiatric institution in Ljubljana Poli, in that sense. Nobody can touch them. They have immunity. They have absolutely from persecution, from justice. You won't get the police officer that would go in their place and invite them to the police station and start the interrogation, and a public prosecutor presenting proofs against these people. Or I should say, meeting me in person, talking to me in a way as human beings are treated, not mistreated like an animal, as was the case here in Slovenia, Novo Mesto, or as the case was with International Criminal Court, where I also submitted the same time application as to United Nations complaint, for, application for assistance, plea for assistance to European Court for Human Rights and to European Union Commission, and etc., etc., etc. No, that's not how they do it. They label me as a paranoid schizophrenic. In 2012, they claim I am mentally ill, but they continue on broad daylight to hijack, to poison, to torture, to use for espionage, do all they possibly could to kill, forced me twice to escape from Slovenia, twice more to escape from Slovenia for dear life. No, they don't do it. And just recently in 2024, I was labeled as somebody who is talking about the telepathy, not about the MK Ultra when meeting with one of the animals who barricaded himself on a regular basis into our house together with other police officers to either host foreign politicians or for torture purposes. They say it's a telepathy, that MK Ultra is a telepathy laughing in my face. Yeah, that's how we have it. Thanks to European Court for Human Rights, European Commission, etc., etc. So I don't even know what it she stated, but for me it's extremely important to stress out that this angel is no fucking angel. Not even in respect to Epstein. Well, these people, I understand, that's what I was brainwashed to see things as, were the least implicated in Epstein scandal. The British royals desperately, is what I was brainwashed at least to see, needed them to become involved. In other words, the Epstein files consist greatly of some real accounts of abuse and also of deeply inflamed lies in which many of these, the least implicated or to be blamed for individual have volunteered themselves to give their presence and pose as victims. Do you understand? And we'll be using these issues to play down issues of Prince Andrew, Prince Charles. They didn't even mention him. Did you notice this? Did you notice that a little Hitler, Adolf Hitler, Prince Harry was not even mentioned anywhere in the Epstein files, yet he was all the time together with the Prince William meeting Epstein? Epstein was all the time visiting our house here in Novo Mesto. Yet Prince Harry was the most concerned about anything that would pertain to the royal family due to his diaries that he would release in the future. You see, that man was interested in releasing the whole picture about himself, his biography and that kind of stuff. He didn't start writing the book in, I don't know, 2020 or whatever. He was writing the book all along. They lied, not right, but they lied all along. And CIA listened, and FBI made sure that those files would be altered, changed, edited according to their taste. So those are the things that nobody told you anything about. There was a lot that we told about Prince Charles and Prince Harry and Prince William and etc., etc., yet you don't see anything about that stuff anywhere in Epstein files. What you get to see is whatever is convenient for certain parties, they cannot mess with. I could, based on Epstein files, say that America is just a colony of United Kingdom, I would say. Call it a United Kingdom if you like. Greater than Great Britain. Now, what's the deal with this Norwegian princess in respect to this Epstein? Here I did not properly describe this problem. I did partially describe this problem, and at the end of it, what I'm going to do is I will give it the whole thing to read about, this thing here. However, this deserves more attention. Properly in a sense that there is so much more that I should have described and I did not describe. And it's just so much more, and it's so important for me that I just have to take time to actually describe what it was. Trust me, I just briefly read this shit. When I see this garbage, trust me, please, I have a difficulty seeing this animal on the internet because they're so disgusting. They're such a disgusting creatures. You couldn't believe that I ended up like this, but yeah, this is how This is basically how I ended up. This is what they did with me. This is who these people are. I have no doubt that whatever they can do, whatever they did to me, I have absolutely no doubt that they can do to any one of you. If you think that you're immune from this, if you work for the CIA or FBI or wherever you work for, wherever department, or you're in the U.S. military, whatever the fuck you do, you can trust me. You saw me who I was during MK Ultra. If I wasn't worth that shit, you can trust me. You're not worth that shit either. This is good. It's good written, but it's stuff that's missing here, and I want to make sure that this stuff is documented through the video, not only with the blog. So I want this to be seen. I want people to feel, and I want people to see me, that you see me. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna roll down this one more time once I'm done giving you a report. Let me just see this thing here. Once I'm done, I'm going to roll down again and you're going to be able to read. Yeah, you should read and understand what is written below, but I want you to see me when I talk to you about these things. It's like this. Stuff that I mentioned here is I basically mentioned how Epstein was bringing me to Norway, and you know, the travel to the USA, to the properties of the Epstein, to the property of the Epstein, Florida property, whatever. Epstein had more than one property. Epstein had properties, not only 2 properties or 3 properties, where they say Epstein had properties. And I don't think Epstein is dead. And Epstein had a way to get you anywhere you want. He had connections, obviously. He was a personal cutter of the White House, of the FBI, of the CIA. So naturally that this man would have ties to all sorts of I mean, don't you fucking see that he had access to royals, to absolutely... They never mentioned the Rothschilds anywhere. Why the fuck is this? The Rothschilds were visiting our home. They had me visit them I don't know how many times. They sort of felt that their stay in Switzerland is a compliment of mine to them. They felt that the Swiss government, they felt that European governments tolerate them more because of involvement with me, literally. That's how deep I was in this thing in MK Ultra. That's how bad this case was. I'm going to scroll this down. At the end, like I said, all I want to add to this stuff, I want you to see me when I talk to you about this stuff. It did not start in 2011. It did not start in 2010. This shit with Princess Mette-Marit and her husband, Prince Haakon, it started, talking about the Epstein here, this shit started in 2006. And these people will have to explain why did it all started in 2006 between them and between the Epstein. And there's nothing else to say other than what I stated. They were doing absolutely everything possible to provide a cover-up for the British royals, for royals, businessmen, politicians that were accused of all kinds of crimes, with idea to play down this Epstein outbreak, you know, to protect Donald Trump, to protect animals who did all kinds of stuff, elite. You have to involve other portion of elite that you cannot prove to that they were involved in directly, you know, in house parties, in sex parties, that kind of stuff, all through. I know the stuff about the Haakon. I know the stuff about King Harald V of Norway that can lift their hair up immediately. They had me around. They were meeting ladies in my presence. They wouldn't want me to be with the ladies. And they wouldn't want me to be with their Norwegian ladies who wanted to be with me because they had their own intentions with those ladies. Don't even start with me. Because I investigated already certain cases that were involved in MK Ultra. That, look, already my case that I was treated as mentally ill person in Norway where I was hijacked. And if you go back to time, you know, the block, this block here, where is a lot to describe, but not everything is described. This is fucking horror. If you read about the stuff that went on, and with the Danish, and with, I didn't even write the stuff that went on with these people, what went on in Sweden, what they had going on. Hey, when I came to Sweden, I thought that when I was hijacked to the Sweden, and to the Norway, and to the Denmark, I thought I came to the Africa. And I thought that I actually came to Turkey. And I actually thought that I came to China. And I actually thought that I came to South America. The hatred pertaining to Norway, Sweden, Denmark, racism, racial sickness, which Scandinavians were doing best to mark me with, to roll down on me, to make as many enemies as possible through Norway, through Sweden, through Denmark, talking about enemies, people basically whom they lured to Sweden, whom they lured to Norway, whom they enticed to Denmark, Norway, Sweden, offering the jobs, all kinds of opportunities, etc., etc. Those people were, yes, they depended on government handouts and on a government sympathizing with them to prosper themselves in a newly founded homelands, and sure, were willing to do anything. But this was not the idea. The idea was to create as evil image about me as possible, not for the sake of Norway, in Norway only, or I should say Sweden and Denmark, but to take this image way far abroad to the homelands from wherever those people were imported to Scandinavia, in order to create a relationship with their political ties with their homelands. You know, 9/11 is a big business. This is a very big business. You have to do a lot of stuff before you can move from point A to point B. From what finally took place in 2001, I did spoke to you about, and the blog already took place in 1976, in 1975. It was from point A to B. I did describe about how the Chinese had advanced even knowledge, did not agree to 9/11, but how British implicated them, demanded from them to get implicated, involved in, etc., etc. It took enormous amount of investments to China and Russia and etc., for Moscow 1999 September bombing to take place. This doesn't happen over the course of the night. It takes time to bombard Iraq, Iran, I should say Iraq and Libya and Syria and Lebanon and Gaza, and, fucking kill everything. Finally, look, it's 2026. We're talking about Iran. So if I summarize this shit, I'm talking about a span of at least 50 years. If it started in 1976, we are talking about 50 years now. It's 2026. These things do not happen overnight. It's a lot of time that goes in between, and it's necessary to engineer and blackmail sting, catch, release, give us special favors, make special arrangements in respect to trade, give the investments, upgrade, help with technology, science to the countries that, that are behind, but you need them to participate in order to pressure other countries and all that kind of stuff. You get the song? This is what this is. This is not just Donald Trump. Donald Trump decided. Donald Trump will, what the fuck with Donald Trump? Let me demonstrate this here. Aha.
And I want the Iranians to know that if I'm the president, we will attack Iran. Whatever stage of development they might be in their nuclear weapons program in the next 10 years, during which they might foolishly consider launching an attack on Israel.
This isn't about Donald Trump, This is not about Donald Trump. This isn't about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is...
How did Donald Trump, after 10 years of saying one thing, do in the pivotal act of his presidency exactly the opposite?
I am going to give you a warning right here. Warning that following you're about to see is a schizophrenia. And the voices that you hear cheering Trump also is a schizophrenia.
Spent $5 trillion in the Middle East. We've spent $6 trillion in the Middle East. $6 trillion in the Middle East. We could have rebuilt our country twice. We've spent $8 trillion in the Middle East. And we're not fixing our roads in this country? How stupid is it?
The Pentagon asked the White House for $200 billion for Iran war supplemental. Can you explain why a package this large is necessary?
$200 billion. I think that number could move, obviously. It takes money to kill bad guys. And we're not fixing our highways, our tunnels, our bridges,
Yeah, it takes money to kill the bad guys. I want to go back to the subject of Norwegian royal family. This is about demonizing them beyond what they deserve, but I definitely do not deserve to be seen, for them to be seen my victims. What I did not mention here, and it's very good described about what took place, started to take place in 2006. Every time I was delivered by Epstein to this royal family in Norway, in Norge, fucking stupid, man. These people, they demanded from me every bit of sanity and seriousness and, devotion and etc. And, now it's 2026, and what I'm about to tell you, what you're about to read over there is going to make you puke. No, really, these were one of my favorite royal families. I tolerated, I wanted to believe, I had to believe in something, you understand? I had absolutely nobody and nothing in this world. I had to believe in something. Thanks God I had mom and dad in all misfortune and even participation with the police against me. I thank God for having mom and dad for so long. And they collaborated with the police, and they absolutely did stuff that would wreck me, destroy me, get me killed. But if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't even hear me talking. It was circumstances that somehow let this go for so long. That's a fortune, that's a curse of this case. But when you're with these animals, with the so-called royals in it, things doesn't go from worse to worse. They go, it's a satanism. It's a Luciferism. Trust me. Trust me. I am not going to go and spoil this video. I don't want to go into extreme, but they're just really not good people. Okay. They're much worse than what is written about them, because most of the stuff these people get a hold of it and they delete, they burn books, they change text inside of the books, school books. They made the political friends with what used to be a Soviet Union, Russia, and changed the textbooks and had the material that pertained to Romanovs, etc., for example, I'm just giving you, disappear. And through the bribe, through corruption, portray Romanov family as a victims of the communism and etc., etc., etc. Bolshevism. I'm not a communist. This should really scare you. I'm not interested in a communism. This should really scare you. I prefer a capitalist society, capitalism. I prefer free enterprise, competition. This should really scare you, especially if you're a CIA man or FBI man, or you're on the front lines. Whatever you're going to be, you're never going to be on the front lines as much as I was. I spent on the front lines half a century. I spent on the front lines 49 years. On the front lines. Drugged up, delivered to whatever place so the espionage could be done, and much more than that. I was used to beat down the morale of the enemy, and I was used to centrify, unite republics, I'm going to say, of the Soviet Union for their independence sake. I was born in what was known as a Yugoslavia, which is ridiculous when I consider today. Just for me to mention, it's kind of funny, really. Funny when I think about what I have done to the people who treated me like an animal, where they own entire Yugoslavia and they end up losing so many republics, the countries, little states there, like Slovenia or Croatia or Bosnia or Macedonia, where Kosovo, where natives were not allowed to invite foreigners as a friends into a house. It was like this, that if you were a foreigner, you were not allowed to come unless you were a family member, and even they did not even like the family members to come. This is the way it was in Yugoslavia. If they work in Germany or France or Italy or whatever, they were not welcome here, even less Americans and so on, because they claimed they were all spies. And you, as a native from Slovenia, you were seen as a spy, even if your aunt was the one who went for the job over there in Austria or Germany or wherever she went. Uncle, you know, if you have relatives or whatever, you yourself was seen as a spy, as no good. People forget about this, but the Serbs actually behaved here like a masters, like the owners. To the degree that you would have to ask for permission for your relatives to visit you. This is the way this was in Yugoslavia. This is how they have it arranged here. So, what I want to say to you about this all is that this stuff did not start in 2011 or 2010. It started in 2010 with Epstein. And you're going to see me on a camera here a little bit, so that you know, I wave you a little bit. Here is, I'm going to make a little commercial what exactly you are watching it, what was taken off the internet. every time Epstein would take me to a royal family to a Norway, he treated me like an animal. Before I would even be delivered to a royals, to a Norway, they would have gangs torture, severe torture. Then they would give me to Epstein, and Epstein acted like in a nice way, like a friend, but then he started to act like he is, like as soon as he would get, and they all did this stuff. They all did this stuff. It was always arrangement that if the person would give me a peace, a tranquility, and I would acknowledge this as a peace, tranquility, or if the girl would be, I don't know, sexually affiliated, if she would manage to flirt me out of the crazy mood, torture mood, which they were using them to relax after these missions, these torture sessions, I would have to pay afterwards to her through either a group she was connected to with it being tortured. Yeah, this is the way they operated this stuff. Or to her, so she could get whatever she was implicated into, financial whatever, the interests out of it. And the Epstein was always like this. At first, whenever he would come across, he was such a nice guy, you know. But whenever the road was taking me to Norwegians, he just, I was just gonna say, he fucking hated me. Epstein simply I don't want to say that he hated me. He wanted me to feel that I'm absolutely the worst person in the world, and that he is my victim doing the stuff, what he's doing, that he's doing a favor to me that he really doesn't want to do. This is what's evident, God knows, from how many recordings of the Epstein, between Epstein and me. He continued to stress out that I'm absolutely the worst person, that I don't get along with gangsters and foreign governments wherever I was sent on a mission. He, contrary to me, was friend with the entire world and demanded from me to be friend with the entire world, to be friend with the entire world, because he was on a mission to save me. He had all the time the philosophy about how he is saving me, that he is saving me. So next to the violence that went on, and I did describe you about this sulfur acid that you can use to dismember corpses, bodies that he ordered. How he ordered me to get into the bathtub and that kind of stuff, claiming me that it was a sulfuric acid inside and stuff. Just stupid shit, naked. That he enjoyed. This man was definitely sick. And it was funny to him. He was a great friend of the Slovenian Robert Golob. He's the man who won the elections here again, yesterday, something like this, in Slovenia. And he found this extremely entertaining torture. Next to giving me a favor, he claimed that Epstein, well, yes, that he absolutely hates helping me out. This is to help me out. And this is how he would repeatedly deliver me to Norway, where he would start to arrange meeting with the royals. And, you know, at first they met him and they dismissed him in 2006. They briefly met him, and then they started to meet him. You know, Haakon is going to explain how he first dismissed him, and then at the recommendations of the British royals, and SIA and that kind of stuff. He started to arrange the meeting with them, and then sometimes in as early as in 2007, I and Epstein would frequently start to travel to the Norwegian royals. Now, why would Epstein be taking me to the Norwegian royals? Not for the Kalahari mission. Maybe the Central Intelligence Agency can elaborate on this issue. Maybe the Norwegian royals can explain, because it was also Norwegian girls that were involved in this stuff. It was also Norwegian teenage stuff that was involved in this. I mean, you're innocent. You don't know nothing about it, but you may want to tell about the Epstein in Norway, because it didn't start in 2011, 2010. I don't even know if this shit between Epstein and Norwegian royals started in 2006. Why do I don't know? Because it's called a roadblock. The roadblocks are used to create person that is subjected to MK Ultra, to the brainwash, like a wall that he would not go beyond, that he would not penetrate through. And you do this by giving him a threat. If you will say that this happened before such a year, because MK Ultra, it's not only demonstrating you the stuff during MK Ultra, but the main part of MK Ultra is lying to the person that is subjected to MK Ultra, presenting him one location and mixing that location with 2, 3 other or even more other locations, presenting him an important individual that's going to play a role in his case, and getting him 2, 3 other doppelgangers, or maybe even more, or maybe different cases that would be very similar to his life pattern. So when he would be giving you clues, when you would meet him, you easily could confuse him with other people that are implicated in MK Ultra and were used actually to cover up, for him to say, oh no, you don't know me. What's wrong with you? You don't know me. That's what MK Ultra is. MK Ultra is not telling you, oh, it's this. They don't answer you the fucking questions. Seldomly. Whenever they need to gain the traction, basically, for you to pick up their shit and carry on, they give you clues based on your questions. But most often, they don't give you no fucking answers on your questions. They give you clues, and those clues are actually designed to steer you in the wrong direction so that you could portray yourself as a paranoid, as crazy, as much as possible. And those clues are also used, based on your questions, to drive you insane, to fill your brain with so much garbage, crap, that you would not even dare to think about it. Because when you would try to go into a certain subject, man, they were using, for the stuff that you use on a laptop, or even use the words that you use frequently when you write, whereas I write blocks, to make all kinds of creations, variations out of it. For all the issues that were used during MK Ultra, they knew that I'm going to come across by literally using mother to present, to deliver these issues inside of the house, to pose with. They created all kinds of death promises, hospitalization promises. MK Ultra is a madness. It's a madness. It's not only a lie, it's a madness. And it consists almost purely of death threats. The rest of it is just like decoration that they allows you to somehow allow them to use you for their purposes. That's what that is. It's a procedure. It's not even a fucking job. You perform like a robot, basically. You perform robotically. You basically respond to jabs. That's MK Ultra. Whatever sense you can make out of it. Most of the people cannot. They go mad. Can't blame them for that. That's MK Ultra. Epstein was very interested in recruiting Norwegian girls. Beginning 2006, for sure 2006 if it was not earlier. It might have been 2002 that he started to get interested in Norwegian girls, yeah. Epstein did not travel to Norway in 2006. He already traveled more. He traveled in 2002, 2001. Epstein started to travel to Norway in 2001. That's 10 years earlier than what Norwegian Mette, Haakon, and Harald, and etc., tried to present that they became his victims. I know he traveled already in 2001. I know Bill Clinton and Epstein were good buddies with one another, and through the American presidents, Epstein penetrated literally into Norway. Now, for me to demonstrate you advanced knowledge, hopefully that you will interrogate your royals in Norway. They were advised, Epstein was advised not to go to Norway, to not make trouble. Me personally, I didn't want him to go to Norway. This is also what Bill Clinton, George Bush, and others are going to have to confess about. Why? Because I thought that society in Norway and Sweden doesn't deserve this, to enter. This was a dirt when it comes to Epstein. This is just destroying young girls, beautiful girls, basically wasting them, turning them into a junk. That's what this was. This was a traveling circus that would go through and just, burn everything, just leave nothing other than devastation behind. And I didn't want any of that garbage to go to Scandinavia and destroy whatever is that heritage they have over there. And, I thought very highly of it. And so they're going to have to explain about that, because Epstein did start to travel to Norway 2001. Not before that, but 2001. Now, 2001 is like record slow. How can I say? He was doing this way earlier in America, in USA, and he also recruited in other countries. So 2001, however, it was. In terms of my MK Ultra case, 2001, it's like, oh, I finished mechanical engineering in 91. That's like fucking dull, like retirement. 2001. That was 25 years ago, and I'm just 54. But in terms of MK Ultra, it was a whole life that I spent under MK Ultra. That translates into like Colombian, Venezuelan pimps, beautiful girls that he solicited. He solicited from Mexico, from Colombia, from Venezuela. Come on, Bill Clinton should fucking tell you about this. He's your president. Your Bill Clinton loves you. Come on. He's your fucking president, no? As a president, he should love you. Should you be fucking digging into your president? He's your president. He loves you. He fucking loves you. With George Bush, with Donald Trump, they fucking love you. They don't love you. If you love somebody, you have to be open, you have to disclose, you tell the way it was. These people all saw this shit, and a whole pack of others who witnessed, participated, engaged politicians, business people, this whole circle, with European royals included, participated in this shit. So, I don't understand Why is it that your beloved politicians, that you love them so much? You fucking love your presidents, your American president. You love them. You fucking love them. We love you, Bill Clinton. We fucking love you. He did the TSA job the other day. No, he was doing patting your asses because it was a TSA shortage, no, and a bill came with a peacemaker to give you guys a help, the assistance, right? You know those planes at 9/11? Boom! Twin Tower. No, Bill Clinton not. Of course not, because, you know, he's trusted. He's doing a TSA job, no? He negotiated, by the way, to do this when my stuff would start to sparkle out on a surface. Together with the TSA executives inside of our house here, he did, and promised me there will be nothing once he get that kind of assignment. With FBI bosses saying to me, together with 9/11 investigation commission, all kinds of commissions they had, all these pounds they had. Never heard from them, boy, only during MK Ultra clones. That they would know nothing about, and pointed at me. Wow, you're a hero, man. Wow. We didn't know there was something like you. We didn't know we had something like you, that there was somebody like you. We didn't know about any of that stuff. Huh. It was all thanks to Bill Clinton. At least he gave us something. You see, so I should be grateful to Bill Clinton about this shit. And I should be grateful to Donald Trump about the shit that I stressed you earlier. So you see, this is what MK Ultra is. It's a manipulation. MK Ultra is a lie. It's a lie. And with a little luck, you're silent and you walk directly into grave without telling anything about who, how, and what. With a little luck, and they go without a scratch. Because they brainwash you beyond fucking belief. And the worst brainwasher is yourself. I was the worst brainwasher. Because I keep losing. And I keep believing that my losses are actually victories. And my losses were victories. There were victories for NATO. There were victories for American military. They excelled out there. But everything was blamed on me. While George Bush was enjoying his stay on his ranches and his luxury together with the Clintons. They had fun, ball of their life, your American billionaire politicians, millionaires. I was bathing in a pain inside of the psychiatric hospital with nothing to live for. I took it all upon myself, you see. The more you lose, and that's a very, very dangerous sickness. The more you believe that you have to be silent about it because you're not going to even have that, and the only thing you have is basically a disdain in their eyes for your misery. Misery, however, equals to your life. This is the life with Illuminatis. It's a sickness, severe. I don't know nothing about Norwegian royals being innocent in any sense. Even the stuff that I stated earlier, I take that back. But in 2006, they set like a roadblock, like that. Like they were making themselves fine, like we don't deal nothing with Epstein's, and basically fuck me by literally pointing at me that you don't want us to have with him anything anyways, right? And so this doesn't go to 2001, but the Norwegian royals and Epstein were already involved with one another since 1999, when I asked them to, during Bill Clinton's presidency, to keep him away. 98, 99 from Norway, I didn't want Epstein anywhere. So we go to year 1998. So 1998, Norwegian royals and Epstein already had a strong connection. Now, King Haakon, Harald, number 5, needs to, like that donkey number 7 or wherever it is, that Grizzly Adams movie, It was number 7 or whatever they call that, the monkey, donkey. You need to clarify about that stuff, man. You need to ask. You need to ask questions. You need to ask Mr. Harald. Would you explain us what your connection between yourself, therefore you're a royal family, not only yourself, and Mr. Epstein since beginning 1998 was? And you may want to ask, do you, by the way, know this individual? And you point at me. Do you know who this man is? You need to do this on a lie detector so that you get the readings, so you get the results out of it. So the man tells you, or that you keep him at the police station in case he is too brazen about it. I don't know nothing about any kind of innocence between Epstein and Norwegian royals since 1998. You understand? Don't know a fucking thing. I had arguments because of this shit, and I did give you best I possibly could. Now, as far as their stay in United States of America and the properties of Mr. Epstein, what I can tell you about that is, I was repeatedly delivered to the Norwegian royals. But I would say that this started sometimes like in 2000 and with a purpose of their stay in the United States of America. This started sometimes in 2006. And in 2008, I was scolded, berated by the Haakon, Norwegian, husband of Mette, on why is it that I don't want them to have a good relation with the Epstein. It was not in 2008, it was already in 2006, 2007. So they were using two things. They basically raped me into what I'm about to tell you in continuation, and at the same time they also created the roadblock, because they portrayed this like, to me, they portrayed like this, like that they don't want to absolutely have anything to do with him. This shit went all in 2006. And it was like British royals and others that intervene so that they would do, and it would be all for my sake, on my behalf. And in between, again, we had a fight about, because I declined to have anything to do with Epstein and them. Why is it that I don't want to be them? Why is it that I don't want them to be friends with the Epstein? Sorry, this goes to year 2004. In 2006, they were already like this. I was a bitch on the floor who was guilty, who was a bitch who just would not want, I guess, Americans in Norway? I mean, yeah, I was crazy enough to get myself into this shit, but I did explain earlier why. I believe that, I believe in this Scandinavian beauty. I really believe in this original Scandinavian and also German women. Very beautiful. Different. Anything that is different is beautiful. Just like black, or just like Asian, or just like, if it's really different, it's really original, it's really interesting. But it doesn't even have to be so different, whatever. But I believe in this differences. And wherever this fucking Epstein, it was just, you can call it a race mixing, that's fine with me, but it was, as it appears, more than race mixing, and entire society would implode into one big, gigantic fuck-up ball, wherever the Epstein traveled to. It turned into a Ringelspiel on open, basically, into I don't know. Whatever American culture penetrated, it was just drugs, prostitution, It was more than just people intermixing. It was just, it appears as entire society became a fuck up. Everything started to fall apart, and the MK Ultra itself was a violence based on interracial issues, I would even say. I would say to that, interracial issues. MK Ultra is a pure hatred. This is a pure toxic mixture of lunacy, hatred, differences, crime. I don't even know. It's a crime. It's nothing other than crime. That's what MK Ultra is. So considering, let's say, a place in Denmark known as Christiania, which is a lunatic asylum on open, with you have various racial backgrounds of people mixing with native Danish drug addicts, even people that in other countries probably would end up inside of the, you know, like under Mental Health Care Act because of mental deficiency, I'm gonna say, or, you know, I don't even know this stuff. Unwillingness to work, progress at large, man. MK Ultra is espionage. And if royals were interested in anything, was basically in penetrating in the worst parts of the city, parts of the city or the country, all that Martin Luther King movement, I should say American civil rights movement, with granddaughters and, you know, grandkids of Martin Luther King, and entire black movement and entire civil rights movement, and, you know, and drug addicts and criminals and whatever. That's what they had me. This is what I was used for, absolutely everywhere. No. You would do much better off being at home. I'm not defending these people. You don't understand. They're used like as some sort of first line of defense for the system, whatever the fuck you go to, travel to. Because they present that domestic native community like a difficult place for you to coexist, live. You go to a country and you start seeing native people homeless and jobless and doing a crack, and ladies doing funny stuff and doing nothing, basically just doing some crazy shit, going to the local officer to collect basically payments, welfare payments and stuff like this. I don't know, I would say to you, fucking run while you can. This is not a good place for you to be. If it's no place, if you see too fucking crazy stuff going on, you have to understand that the state is doing crazy stuff that through the circumstances you yourself cannot avoid, unless you are self-employed or something like that, or you have assistance from your country or whatever you're established to stay in that foreign country. Sooner or later you're going to become part of it, a victim of that system. I'm not defending this Norwegian garbage or Danish garbage or Swedish garbage. They have this how the fuck did I call them? I gave them a special name for that reason. Basically a neo-Nazi, you know, neo-Nazi shit, walking around with their dreadlocks and, you know, pretending themselves to be cool and this and that, when, you know, in reality it's like a fucking rattlesnakes. They're just, you know, waiting to get the opportunity to bite your ass. I mean, it's not the way it seems to be. The society is, on a surface, doing its best to give you a certain impression, but that's not necessarily the way it is. And I'm just saying. I gave them a really nice name. I like that name. Uyghurs. I call them Uyghurs. Vigere. Uyghurs. That for me is a person that is actually a neo-Nazi that is acting like in a very different way, and it's dressing up funny and it's acting funny, and it's not for what this shit is presenting himself to. Okay? We had shit like this even inside of Antifa. We had shit like this that penetrated in all sorts of peace, you know, against war, whatever, fractions, where they started to create all kinds of problems, and it was largely used by Donald Trump to propel himself as somebody that country needs to regulate order in the country. You understand? Those are vigors. Vigaria, as I used to refer to that stuff as. I'm not defending any of this shit. I'm not defending any of this stuff. It's all kinds of decent people that come with idea to work hard, and they do best they can, and they end up in miserable circumstances. Truly is like you can't fucking make it out of, you know, the problems. You know, like they call it like a rat race stuff. You know, it doesn't matter. Okay. These people are not innocent. This Scandinavian society is far from innocent. Always, Epstein was doing a favor to me, whatever the fuck, whenever he had me, he was using me literally, just as I explained, and it didn't start in 2010. When it comes to Mette, Princess Mette, Epstein started to take me to Norway and demand from me, first it was Norwegian royals, Haakon, Mette, Harald, an entire family that started to torture me, claiming me. Beginning 2006, they start to hardcore torture me physically in Norway, claiming me. Yes, I give oath, I attest this, I testify this. Claiming me that I don't want them to be friends with them. Epstein doesn't want, they don't want them to be friend with Epstein. Yeah? Epstein, however, was pressuring from other side. They wanted to know why is it that I don't want to be friend. And I already explained you in this video why. Was it in 1998, even in 97, I would say, that I asked Bill Clinton to not send Epstein to Norway. The major friend, associate, ally of Epstein was Bill Clinton. This was his man. This was Bill Clinton's man. Bill Clinton Epstein, okay? Epstein is basically Bill Clinton product. In a big way. Meaning they wanted to create as many problems for me as possible. What they anticipated was that I would be no threat to them. What they wanted to do is, out of me would be a war with the entire world, basically. Be used for the purposes and then wasted, literally through complete acknowledgement of the world that I was a bad person by every country around the planet. there is no better way of doing this than presenting the person that he doesn't want whatever cultures in whatever country, and all these countries, and that he's just a trouble for everybody, including and especially for the royals from there, and present, of course, the royals as human rights oriented people that are motivated in helping people. In that sense, this is the way this worked. That's what I was used for. I was used to assume the role of the neo-Nazi Germany, Scandinavia, colonial Britain, colonial France, colonial Netherlands, colonial Italy, and colonial Spain, Portugal, and to put it upon myself. And I was used by them to grab me and beat me up, use other people to beat me up from other countries, for them to present themselves. Yes, of course, meine Liebe. Wir lieben dich. We love you. Wherever you are coming from, we love you. We simply love you. You're welcome. Willkommen. Welcome to the Germany. Welcome to Britain. Welcome to Netherlands. Welcome. Benvenuti a Italia. Benvenuti a Francia. Everywhere. America, love you. We love you. We love you. He is evil. This is the way this stuff was. So this went hand in hand with the politicians, with intelligence agency around the world, where they have all kinds of operatives at the same time taking documents in and out, that kind of stuff. Agreements, meetings inside of our house, which was nothing other than a meeting house for Illuminatis. This was my life. This is the way it was. Yeah. So Norwegians started to torture me in the name of love, in the name of the racial and ethnic equality and love. It's one of the princesses of the King Harald, numero 5, number 5, daughter is married to a black guy who refers himself as a shaman. He's from Louisiana. Is a very nice guy, I would say. He's a very, very nice guy. He's a sweet guy. The shaman from Louisiana, I think Creole guy from the U.S. that she married. And so it was all in the name of love. And this was just really universal. This was just universal. The sister of a Thai king, she also studied this art or whatever the fuck. They like arts and stuff, that kind of stuff, and peace and love, and they don't want to have nothing to do with the bullets. They don't want to have nothing to do with it. But they were the one that were meeting here all the time. I had Norwegians all the time coming in this home here. Harald, Haakon, they were visitors here all the fucking time. Meeting Trump, meeting Bush, meeting all these politicians, arranging wars basically. But in the public, the only thing you do is you see them celebrating. It's called the positive events. You don't see them. You don't see them anywhere. The way this stuff really is. Yeah. So that's all I wanted to say. This is just really important for me to declare about this stuff. So in 2006 they started to torture me. Torture lasted all the way to 2008. Epstein takes trips with me to Norway repeatedly. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, more times, where he delivers me for torture purposes. Yes, whenever he delivers me over there, first thing he does is he curses me. I'm a bad person. And he hates himself practically in that sense for helping me out, that he must help out because I'm the worst person in the world. And each time I'm being delivered to Norway, Norwegian royals, Haakon, Mette, are now already acquainted in 2008 that they will be required to do something that will affect their careers very badly, their public image. This was already in 2006, as I said. It was already assignment given to them by American politicians in 2006. Then we have the roadblock, and then we have that other stuff, torture. And claiming that even that I don't want them to get along. So beginning in 2006, somewhat simultaneous in 2007, the Norwegian royals start to even curse me out that they're going to have to do something that will destroy the careers, which arrangement was made in 2006 inside of our house. Epstein, George Bush, Bill Clinton, British royals, and Epstein. It was designed, it was based on offer from Prince Haakon inside of our house. If there is something they can help, if there is something they can do. Earlier than that, 2004. And in 2006, we started with this thing. They started this negotiation in 2004, and in 2006, they reached this agreement, basically started to work on it. Something that is going to affect their public image, the way the people see them, that will destroy them. They will have a very, very bad outcome. And we have torture going on until 2008. For various reasons, because they're going to have to do something for me that's very bad. It's going to have bad impact on their public image, royal image. And of course, because I don't want them to get along with Epstein's. Why is it that I don't want people to love Norway? Well, this is the song that repeated over and over with Princess, what the fuck is her name? Mette, what? Mette-Marit. Mette-Marit. Mette-Marit is her name. Getting in my face and say, but I don't want. Do I have to? In front of me. Like a what the fuck moment. Embarrassing. Pulled on the side. Remember what we said, we're going to do this, it's going to be for you, and etc., etc. You have to tell them that she has to do this because it's for your sake. Let's go back. Okay. We agreed that you will do this for him. Huh? That's how Epstein said, pointing at me. You know, this, after they already clarified me, it's going to have very bad impact on them. I don't know how many times. And I keep telling them, no, don't do it. I told the Norwegian royals, don't do it. And she goes, well, what do you think should I do? And I said, what the fuck would you say? If you wouldn't be drugged up, if you would be in normal circumstances, and you had prior 2 years of torture, not 2 years of torture, but since 97, 11 years of torture, would you do it? What the fuck would you do? Because you can't change whatever the fuck you do anyways. Yeah, I told her, yeah, I think that you should just do it. Yeah, you should just do it. I said, yeah, you should just do it. Yeah. So what they did was they recorded themselves. They recorded themselves on, I don't know, on several occasions, my actually asking them, because this is how Epstein did, to do it on my behalf. We're going to do it for him, but you're going to do it for him. I wouldn't do it for you, pointing at Epstein, but I'm going to do it for him. So that's basically for me that she would do it. She would do it for me. And all along, all the fuck I hear is from Haakon. It's going to be very bad for us. It's going to be very bad for us. I told him, why the fuck are you doing this if it's going to be very bad for you? I mean, I said, man, don't do it. If it's going to be bad for you, don't do it. I don't want you to do it. We have to do it because we already agreed. You need to take this motherfucker to police station and he needs to clarify about this shit so that we understand each other properly about who was standing on what side and what went on. Because everything I stated in this video is exactly the way it was. Exactly the way it was. And the last time this shit repeated was in 2010 with my doing my best since 2008 even to convince at the same time Norwegian royals not to do it, and them claiming me that they already agreed that they're going to do it. One and the other. In 2011, whatever the fuck they did, I saw them in America where they came. I told them, yeah, I said, since you're here, and Jeffrey is offering you also some of the properties. He had a wonderful properties. I said, why don't you take also a little trip to whatever fucking place? I don't know, his other ranch, whatever. It was nice, it appeared, and honestly, he had such a luxurious, wonderful locations with the beautiful girls, everything. And so I said, yeah, since you're here, well, why don't you also take a trip to fucking nowhere, over there, whatever, Nevada, whatever. And it was already enough. It's going to come with, it's going to be very bad for us. It's going to be very bad for us, but we did the way we promised you. Nah? So now you have the guy with a video camera filming you basically as as they get your feedback. Say this is the same shit, like you grab someone like this and you throw him like on a chessboard, like a clown, like a payaso, basically, and he's like, yes, whatever. That's what this is. What is this if this is not? Yeah. And so that's all there is. Now the rest of it is Mette-Marit and her husband Haakon and father Harald numero 5, they're all abused, they're victims, they have fell victims to Epstein crime. Do you understand me why the fuck I had to video record this shit? This is fucking disgusting. These are disgusting fucks. These are a fucking goofy fucks, machines. Like you go and you throw the coin in a machine and you press the button for whatever song you want, and it's da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. It's just hard drives they have inside of their brain are just basically like some kind of a fuckathardia, basically. Programmed to just lies basically are just falling out. It's like just, It's not people, dude. It's a programmed human shit designed basically to lie, con artists, you read about a lot in the media, about the fake media news, about all this shit. That's what they are. That's what they do. They create fake media, all kinds of crimes they create, so they can take down this kind of stuff here. So they create this. In between all that, it's this kind of stuff that happens. And this shit is real. This is beyond real. This is royals. And you need to get fucking real. They're out there to make life expensive, if not impossible. Regulate. They're out there to make you eat your own shit. Basically survive on your own shit. You understand? And get out of it as much as possible, because you're not even humans. You got it? You saw it here? You know it's real. It's so fucking real, they took 15,000 pages of it off the internet, and that included hardcore witnessing about September 11 of 2001, Twin Towers bombing, World Trade Center bombing of 2001. That's how real this shit is. For the last thing I will do is I will have you read this over. I'm going to scroll down. That means you're going to use a pause button on your video so that you can read this over in peace. I'm going to put the link below. But then again, who the fuck knows? That's why I did the video also, so that I protect whatever is written there. But more or less, the principle of this shit is described. Not as good as I did it in the video because I wanted to be detailed. I find this disgusting. If this isn't disgusting, I don't know what disgusting is. This is like super fucking disgusting. There are over 1,000 marriages arranged through my MKUltra case. And it must have been more than 1,000. It might have been maybe 3,000 marriages arranged through my case, MKUltra case. Using me literally to profile ladies. Using me literally to learn about ladies which appealed me. Using me to find ladies that would put up with the shit. Using me to find the best prospects marriages, even also for the ladies. Yeah, the ladies are also using me. It was also like this. The marriages that were made through my case were the marriages that were the most successful marriages in the world. There is no doubt about it. I met so many people that had kids, and all these kids became involved in this case, and this shit just grew and grew and grew and grew. Actually, kids liked to see me. Some cases even wanted to marry me, that kind of, or at least indicated. This is what this shit is. This is what turned into. This is what half century of MKUltra turned into. I'm going to say 50 years of MKUltra. This is what this is. I'm disgusted because this was one of the marriages that was created like this. Extremely disgusted. King Harald V, numero 5. You're not going to shit mouth to me, boy. You traveled with me throughout Norway when you were younger, and we met quite a few ladies. And you weird fucking bird you are. You wouldn't allow me to be with those ladies. But I don't really know what the hell went on between you and those ladies, on the other hand. How that stuff ended up. You're no saint, is what I want to say. It all ended up with wife, yes, all that, but you're no saint. We have all kinds of stuff going on, and it was other ladies, it was a competitions and stuff like this. You're no fucking saint. It was all kinds of stuff that went on. The same shit is with the Haakon. None of you is a fucking saint. A young Haakon also had trips to United States of America. You traveled to USA. You had your dating going on. We remember about that kind of stuff too. You all did go in international and domestic. I didn't say that you went out there and fuck underage girls. I never said that any of you did that, because I don't recall that any one of you would be doing this kind of stuff. I don't recall any of that stuff. But you're no angels. My case proves it. I was an angel. When this shit started, I was less than 1 year old when you scum got involved into this. Now I'm 54. At age 40, you gave me a psychiatric certificate. You labeled me as mentally ill. That's basically after 40 years of MK Ultra bestiality performed on me. You came out with a solution. No, you didn't come with a solution. What you did in 2011, just as I'm about to scroll down and point out, was actually used for the psychiatric institutionalization. In 2010, I arrived to Norway to apply for political asylum. So for the Norwegians, the option of 2011 traveling to, yes, you know how I was mistreated. Outside temperature below zero, with savings that were already greatly decimated in the United States of America, where I did some endless job search in vain for nothing, basically paying out of my pocket bills without any kind of social security, nothing, support, nothing. Basically sentenced to death, to spend whatever the fuck I was dying for to collect. Through work was now going through my hands to the motherfucker land. We were driving the trucks, stayed miserable inside of the truck by ourselves. Now we were throwing money away to pay for the American apartments, Norwegian, Swedish hostels, food, transport, that kind of stuff. We were just fucking throwing money away. So yeah, it became difficult for you after what you did to me in 2010 when I came to apply for Norwegian protection for asylum, because you were a non-European Union member state. Yeah, the Deutschland and Großbritannien, they make sure that they, with other Euro states, thus Europa, as a European Union citizen, you cannot be considered as a political asylum refugee within any of the European states. You are not allowed to file for a protection against your own state if the state, I should say, within the European Union, if you are from the European Union, if you are from one of the European Union states. And the problem also is they deem United States of America is a safe country if you have American citizenship like I have since 2000. So, you see, these citizenships are good for something. Yeah? And so the Norway was not a European Union member, so I tried inside of the European Union after I was declined the right to file for political asylum in Germany, in Belgium. That one was insane. Practically in Sweden they tortured me. In Austria they subjected me to, discouraged me greatly, like do not even try. In Germany they did the same. I wrote about that torture on the Außer Times, which they conveniently removed, right? You remove that from the internet. This is das Demokratie, das Europa. Nah? Stalin was a bad guy, no? Stalin was a bad guy, Ursula von der Leyen. Stalin was a very bad guy, ne? Was a very bad guy, ne? Das Europa, ne? And this is basically how I landed in Norway in 2010, where I was abused by Norwegian police, which was using Turks, and they were using a Chinese as a police, as a Norwegian police officers at Oslo police station. So, prohibited me actually to file for political asylum, throwing me literally into plane and deliver me to Slovenia, to the psychiatric hospital, Ljubljana Poli, during MK during my stay in Norway. Promised me fucking that kind of stuff, with Norwegian King Harald numero 5 meeting Danilo Turk in advance. They always do that. Before they have the state visits, they always rehearse these state visits. And that's what I was used for, and an opportunity delivered to the psychiatric hospital so that when the two would meet in person, that I would recall how the two already met and how I was present, you know, that Bortpacher, all that stuff in Slovenia. This is the way they did this shit. And so for the swinery, Norwegian swinery they did, meine Liebe, God, they had to fucking do something about. So what they did was they arranged transport to the United States of America, to the villa of the Paedostein, of the Epstein, basically, is what I want to say. This is the way this stuff was. So, you know, they would remind me that it was for you. We are in a trouble because of you, because it was for you to help you. So it was to help me. Yeah, this was to help me. So all I want to do is I want to thank the Norwegian royals for all the help and the support. Thank you very much. I was going to say Danke schön, auf Wiedersehen, but all I wanted to clarify is that these animals did this in 2011 and 2012 with idea to throw me into psychiatric hospital. They were not done with the stuff they did to me in Norway, with the endless job search, pain. I think they said at the time it was the most expensive country in the world to pay the bills. Really expensive, wherever you would want to go buy, but, you know, that's nothing when compared to life that can be saved, right? Norwegians are so generous people. They have all kinds of communities over there in Norway. And I thought that there would be also a place for me, but I guess that I was wrong, and they were not done with me. They just wanted me fucking dead, and so protect themselves from any kind of liabilities, playing the victims, my victims, before they even threw me into psychiatric hospital in 2012. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down so that you can read the blog. Use the pause button on your computer so that you can read this. And thank you very much. Hasta la vista, baby, is what I'm going to say for this one. Last 3 days I spent very, very angry, and I'm just glad that I video recorded this stuff. Boy, thinking about this shit with this Mette-Marit, there is also some other stuff, including with the witnesses that I have to this stuff that are not Epsteiners. In case you Norwegian police will try to fuck with something that I stated here, be very careful about that, because it was a lot of people involved in this stuff. It wasn't only the Epstein. And I will say no left, no right, no front, no back, no shit. Don't fucking lie, Norwegian police. Scheisse, dreck Norwegian. Police dreck garbage Norwegian. Do your fucking job. Do your fucking job already, you fucking scum Norwegian. Do your fucking job. Do your job, scum. You're no fucking police. You are dreck. You are shit. You be the police when you prove that you are police. When you prove that you are not a dreck, that's when you be police. I'm not going to fucking Norway. Not going to no fucking Norway. I got no business to be in no fucking Norway. You gotta be out of your fucking mind to go to fucking Norway. I feel for the people, wherever the fuck you're from. If you're in Norway, I actually feel for you. Nobel Prize, what else? Now I almost made a mistake. Almost made a mistake, but luckily I did not. Here, I'm gonna scroll down. All the shit that I'm talking about. This is the most disgusting part about this stuff. About the police. This dreck that participated in all this shit with intelligence did provide absolutely nothing for my sake. What they did was they continued to lie. They continued to lie, kill, and steal. Lie right there in front of you. Lie, kill, and steal for the sake of the royals. That's all the fuck there is, for the sake of their presidents and government and etc. Now, God will bless us if we lie and if we kill and we steal. It will be all good. That's not police. That's a shit. That's a dreck. I will not allow you to regard me, to regard my testimonies as a telepathy. I will not allow this, and you pose in a police uniform. I'm a police guy. You are a dreck. You are no fucking police guy. You are shit, not a police officer. Dreck. Definition of a dreck. Let me scroll down, and you can read this, and thank you. Dankeschön, auf Wiedersehen. Till I kick your ass next time again. Don't fucking lie. Tell the world what it is. Tell the fucking world for what it is. I have enough of this stuff. Tell the world. Everything is like this, and it's 1,000 accounts that I see on the internet I did not report it on. They tell their own fucking stories. Police allows them to lie, to craft their own story out of it, and they don't even allow my blog to be on the internet. It's enough of this shit. Let me scroll down. Okay, let's do it again. I'm gonna scroll down, use the pause button. You read this? Okay, let's go. Let's go. Yes. When Donald Trump shit into his pants, the restaurant owner where the food was served of the Donald Trump was thrown into MK Ultra. They came to him and they started to blame him that he prepared the shit food, talking about Erich and Donald Jr. Started to blame the restaurant owner and victimize him that he prepared the food for the daddy and the daddy went out there on a golf course and shit into his pants. Didn't know what the fuck to do with it. Threw me on MK Ultra and demanded from the restaurant owner That was the year 2014, 2015. Demanded from the owner to present himself as a restaurant owner, manager, to present himself as somebody who did this for me. The fucking Diablo, like, what the fuck would I have to do with, why would I even want to wish Donald Trump anything bad in 2014, 2015, 2016? There was no, I had no need for anything like that. I had absolutely no need for that shit to cause harm to Donald Trump. And it became evident that Donald Trump kept shitting in his pants. This was upgraded problem of the Donald Trump. It became evident that the Donald Trump no longer could be Donald Trump without using a diapers, actually. Even a play on a golf course could be a deadly serious matter. And it was, because since Donald Trump was wearing a diapers. That's all I gotta say about this here stuff. Also, partially, I wrote about in this blog here. Interestingly, Prince Charles, now King Charles of Britain, greater than Great Britain, interestingly also demanded from me to assume all the responsibility for Prince Harry's crazy behavior in a neo-Nazi costume. He said, it's not a big deal for you, come on, take it upon yourself, and so on. Yeah, I was used as a nanny, as a nanny for these idiots. And so the same shit was with Donald, but Donald knew that I wouldn't volunteer for that shit. So he just did it in his own godly way, because he got a really good genes, these are good genes. Yeah, folks, that's all I want to say for this video. I couldn't stand this shit no more. I had to video record. This is disgusting. I had to do it. I had to do it because when this one here starts to talk about the innocent and talking about that she was manipulated, the fucking manipulator like this start talking to me about being manipulated, this is fucking unprecedented. This is unprecedented. These are no fucking victims of any kind, of anybody. These are beasts. They're animals. They have no fucking conscience. And they had more to do with my psychiatric hospitalization probably than any other royal family, with exception to British royals. These are fucking animals. Fuck them. Literally fuck them. I don't care. I was quiet. I was silent. It would have been better that you guys keep your mouth shut. It would have been better for you didn't come up with this one, because I'm not taking shit for you no more. That's all I wanted to say for this video. And I'm quite pleased with this stuff here. I'm quite good with it. I think Donald did it in the pants already in 2013. He had his battles. Mr. Donald Trump, he had his struggle. It was not on a war field, but it was in the middle of the golf course. Sorry, tennis. Oh my God. I think the cameras could not take that. This husband of Marit, this one right here, quite liked to travel also around to United States of America also. He spent time with Epstein already before, the husband Haakon. When I was in America in 2006, I left America. But I came to America in 1995. This husband had his deja vus also in Miami. Did, I think, even in 2011, again, Marit departed home by herself. He stayed a little bit longer around. But this man that you see right there spent also time in Miami area, West Palm Beach, you know, the Pedo Beach, Paedostein Beach, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm, that kind of stuff, the Pampano, you know, the holy island of Epsteiner. This guy as well as mine should be questioned. This guy here, the husband of Marit, he had some other questions also to answer in respect to the Paedostein Island. Unfortunately, when I came to United States of America, he also came to United States of America, and I think that he spent a little bit too long over there with some friends. I'm going to put it just this way. So I take back the stuff that I said, that these people have nothing with the Paedostein. The husband, Haakon, knew already Paedostein way, way, way before than what I listed, selected the terms. 97, 96, he needs to explain a little bit about his Paedostein stuff in the United States of America. This guy right there, 96. That actually concerns FBI, the happy FBI, that kind of stuff. It was about, let me just see this stuff here, that I'm gonna get a little bit, no. Okay. Yeah. How a beautiful picture that is, huh? Come a little bit closer, my boy. This guy spent, you know when this guy spent also time in Miami? In 1993, West Palm Beach and that kind of stuff. He had his whereabouts in the Florida, and the most famous man that you could not miss from the class of the royals, of the top politicians, was a Paedostein, Mr. Epstein. So this guy here has got quite a lot to explain before he even met his Marit. He will give a little bit extra explanation about that stuff. He had his deja vus in the Florida. Graduated Norwegian Naval Academy 95. He attended, received a Bachelor University, California 99. This Paedosteiner is going to have to explain a little bit. He's got a whole more to explain than what I actually anticipated. He would spend his vacations 93 in the Paedostein Island, in the Paedostein State, Florida. He had actually a lot to explain. Yes, there were girls, and were they underage girls? Well, it's said that the Paedostein had the best, right? So I'm going to leave it up to you. I did not actually, I worked according to the memory, but then it came to the memory that I came to the Florida in 1995, and this guy was actually around already in 1993. And sometimes in 1997, he met Marit, something like this, 98. I was all around these guys when they dated, you know. I was around these guys, you know. So I would know about this shit. So I think that he's still Paedostein in, when I came to the Miami, 95 and 96, I would say. And then not much after, because of his father, Haakon, Harald was, Harald number 5, numero 5, was concerned about his son. He was also crazy. Actually, no, he was not crazy. He just could see him as a crazy if he would not calm down. He learned that he had to settle down. And this is when the Princess Marit came on a picture. So yes, he needs to answer the questions for 19 93, 1994, and even 95 and 96 in respect to Florida, Paedostein. He definitely was in a circle of whatever the fuck is this, West Palm Beach, or what is it, this shit here. Let me see this. Let's see this here. We're gonna see this immediately. Yeah, just about off Bahamas. You know, this is where you have these Bahamas islands, and this was a huge deal. Paedostein did not only travel to his Caribbean island, they were maybe even more present in Bahamas than they were in Paedosteinia. Bahamas needs to explain about the Paedostein whereabouts, I should say about the Bill Clinton and stuff. Okay? Is something like a Martha Stewart related to the September 11 of 2001 Twin Towers bombing, World Trade Center bombing. So thanks to him, now I got the ability to see something else here that pertains to the Paedosteiners. And that's what nobody ever mentioned. It's known as the Bahama Islands, where they took me a whole lot. All this territory here, West Palm and this here, this is where the Illuminati Paedosteiners, they were meeting each other. This is where the pedophilia also went on, and from what I understand, Bahamas became dangerous, suspicious for them, and it was FBI transferred to the private pedo island entirely. But the originally Mr. Epstein Paedostein was actually based even together with the Bill Clinton from the Bahamas. The White House ran this crime, therefore Epstein crime from Bahamas originally. And it was American White House politicians that decided that it became under too big suspicion, because my case attracted so many journalists and that kind of stuff, yeah? So whoever published you stuff about the Epstein files, if they didn't mention to you Bahamas, the wild Bunga Bunga party, the Bunga Bunga was the man from Rome. He was notable for the Bunga Bunga. Bunga Bunga parties, wild Bunga Bunga parties, all along went from Bahamas, not from the Paedostein Island. Paedostein Island was created by the Federal Bureau Investigation. The FBI directors created Epstein Island and request of the White House, the Bill Clinton, George Bush, but otherwise Nixon, Ronald Reagan, Carter, of course the Florida governors, all these politicians, everything was based strictly Bahamas. Bahamas was the number one pedo destination. Mama from Bahama. Yeah, you will notice when they talk to you about the Epstein files, I did not read them and I don't give a fuck about them. I can answer the question if you ask me. I can take time and I can answer the questions, but I prefer not to, because if I would, the mind become clustered. And right now, when I investigated these guys, I got all the fucking memory. This was not 93. This guy, this Haakon, was there more than just beginning the 93. This goes to 92 and even 91, that kind of stuff. He had a good life. These people had a lot of fucking money, and they have a lot of autonomy. With folks with a lot of money have a lot of autonomy, and they also travel. They tell daddy, or mommy, I go to the same fucking place that you took me last time, or that we were last time, or whatever. It's like, yeah, it's all good, son. Oh, they give them people to go with them, bodyguards and so on. This is how this stuff was, at least, and still is. So, not out of the Paedostein Island, but Paedostein Island, Epstein Island, became an excuse for all the stuff that went on out of Bahamas. And I can still not exclude that even today, the Bahamas not an epicenter of the Illuminati pedophilia. This shit never stopped. Don't you fucking see what they did to me? Don't you fucking see what they did to me? When I moved to Florida in '95, the shit started to get too hot. Governor Christie was very deeply in this Illuminati stuff also. All this. He knew all about Epstein and all this. It's a million, not exactly million, but there is 1,000 other guys that were implicated that they saw this, participated in all this stuff. It's not such a big secret. They're trying to make the whole thing look like a fucking secret. It's not secret. When I came in '95, shit hit the fan. And they decided that I'm being a little bit too much suspicious and the operation be transferred to the Caribbean, to the other direction, to other islands, down south, towards South America. No more Bahamas. Problem. Oh, Bahamas still went on. The one who was the most concerned, Bill Clinton, George Bush. I was not there. I was the epicenter of it. I was in the epicenter. They refer to me in Florida as bullseye in pertaining to hurricanes. They pertain to me as a center of all this movement. And this is what I was. You can write all the fuck you want. That writing of yours about the Epstein and all this and that is not worth it shit. You allow, and you fucking lie, basically. You have people who continue to lie and lie and lie and lie. And so what happens is, lie prevails. Lie prevails. If you continue to lie, 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 so what do you think that happens? You delete blocks, you don't even allow people. What do you think that happens? Thanks for watching this video. Till next time. It's actually a good one. Bahamas. Not the famous Epstein Island. Bahamas. Everything was through Bahamas. Bahamas is also to the 9/11. The same as fucking Martha Vineyards are to the 9/11. And Martha Vineyards to 9/11 are Mac Daddy of 9/11. This did not start with George Bush. This started with Nixon and Ronald Reagan and all these presidents they harbored, with nobody more than Bill Clinton harbored 9/11, creation of the 9/11. I told you about Kennedy Jr., how he disappeared, how he got on the picture. I told you about that stuff. How in '96 he cried to me that he's going to have to disappear because of this 9/11 that's happening, that he doesn't want to be anywhere in the picture. He doesn't want to, even as a politician, doesn't want to be anywhere in the picture. He filed through the fake death certificate, and he still kept coming in our home. You want to talk the Epstein file, you want to talk about the 9/11, then the way you do it, this is sand in the eyes of the truth. You are all part of the system. Inside of this room here where I'm at, there must have been at least 100 different Facebook group owners, administrators. Not the fucking outlet media. We are talking about the Facebook groups. Fucking Facebook groups. At least 100 of them. You know what the fuck that is? You know the amplitude, the intensity? A lot of news that you see on the front pages of Yahoo was implicated in this case. They work according to the program they design. It's like a matrix. And the only thing is they do is they bombard with the stuff that is designed to fit certain picture. This is how they create your idea about everything. Bahamas. Whenever you talk about the Epstein, talk to me about the Bahamas. Don't fucking talk to me about anything. Bahamas. Bahamas was the main thing. And Bahamas for the United States of America in relation to 9/11, pedophilia, all that stuff that was meeting the prominent, the politicians, the prestigious, is a death sentence. If you start talking about Bahamas, it was a death sentence when they decided that must no longer be Bahamas on the picture. That must be transferred to another location. That is too much. And still the meetings went on in Bahamas. Show you this, and even better than I show you this is this here. This should really, really worry you. This isn't even about my complaints submitted to ICC, to European Union Commission, to the American U.S., the so-called U.S. Justice Department of State, the Civil Rights Division. It's not about even United Nations. This is about deleting 15,000 pages concerning issues that you people, Americans especially, swear on and pledge on and give your oath to resolve them and etc. on a daily basis. Obviously through see nothing, hear nothing, know nothing, mental health, articles, act, I should say. I don't know, I feel like saying, people, thank you for watching this. You're fucking watching the best program in the world. You keep talking about shit, but nobody tells you anything about really what goes on. And you keep talking about certain things, but the truth is here, and you seems like you don't care about it. Definitely not a victims. These are definitely not a victims. These are far from victims, dude. These are far from victims, man. Far from victims. Far. Hyenas. Victims not. I hate to address the Norwegian police because, as I said, it's a dreck. It's not a police. It's a dreck. Whoever is going to investigate these animals, to be noted, Prince Haakon was visiting Bahamas with his father, Harald, God knows how many fucking times since my childhood. He brought his son along, and his son was actually like very good with me, like some kind of bodyguard, like taking care of me, that it wouldn't be too much violence implemented against me in that sense. That's why this was family so much prepared. You need to fucking explain how many times were there, boy. And you were in the Bahamas on Illuminati meetings, probably you, Haakon, before, I would even say, before 1980, I would say. Okay, let's make it before, probably around 1982, that you already traveled with your dad, Harald, to Bahamas. You are deeply involved with Epstein. I didn't have a chance to get any women, not girls, but any women, because You don't want people to have families. It's a normal thing. You don't want to have them jobs and you don't want to have them families. You want to keep them like this on the edge of the society. You did. And you have. And so you need to explain police everything about who you are, what you are, just how many times with your father, Harald, number 5, you were at the Bahamas with me. When it comes to Harald, Harald traveled to Bahamas with me when, I'm not going to say when, but for sure already in 1978, 1977, I was, let's say, I'll be generous with you. I am just going to say 1977, and it probably was 1976. Harald and Haakon both to the police station. Confess about this publicly. Confess about who you are, what you are to Epstein. Yeah, I'm playing no fucking nice guy here no more. Nice guys are gone. Nice guy went out of the door. Never will come back. About my visits to Norway with the Paedostein. As I stated, I have proofs. I get you people like this that they're going to give you a green light on it. I was present. The stuff that I stated in this video is fact. Facts. These are facts. This is a fact. You got to tell, doesn't fucking matter. You need to confess, not to tell, not explain, not admit. You need to confess. That's all there is. I got people that will give green light on the stuff that I said. On everything I said. Including Bahamas, 1976, 1977. Harald, number 5, was dedicated to me by the Germans, actually, to go with me to Bahamas. Because it was just violence. And traveling with Norwegians was just a peace of mind. I got extremely attached to the Scandinavians because in my childhood they were not even remotely as involved in a violence as others were. So this is why. But for everything I stated here, multiple, who knows how many witnesses. Too many fucking people. Too many people saw this shit. Too many people witnessed. Too many people participated in this stuff. The way you do this police investigation, this is like, pooey. Pooey. This is nothing. This is no police investigation. This is nothing. What you do is dreck. Like I said, like I explained, this is nothing. You are lawyers, you in the police uniforms, you are lawyers for the criminals. That's what you are. Lawyers for the elite, for the criminal elite.